that clip we just played where Dave Rubin comes out and says, like, I'm happy to be called conservative. And soon he'll just be identifying, it's like he'll come up with a new name. Like they're probably workshopping it. Like new conservative doesn't sound right because people say I'm a neoconservative, but I am sort of a neoconservative. But how about like a millenno-conservative or something? Like they'll come up with some name. They incidentally, conservatives always do this. They always do this. Like the whole term paleo-conservative was a function of them coming out against neoconservative. Like there's always an iteration of conservatism. The libertarian conservative, like they
remember crystal conservatives from the 90s.
Yeah, they do this as a way of like stepping off of what what has become sort of toxic at that point.
Yeah.
So Dave, this clip is from Friday. We're now in the call me conservative Dave Rubin era. And here's the problem that Dave Rubin's going to have is that he just doesn't have the intellectual capacity. If he's not riding on his identity as a married gay man who was a lefty or a liberal and now sees the light when he can't anymore, he's got to rely on actually having some measure of faculty in assessing politics. And the problem is he has none. This is on Friday, the day, maybe 36 hours before Sidney Powell becomes so toxic that they have to pretend she was just showing up at these press conferences and had no reason to be there. Here is Dave Rubin.
At the personal level, putting aside the political level for a moment, if they're just making it up, like then Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani are legitimately insane, right? Like if they're going to destroy their professional lives, their careers, but not just that, their personal lives, their ability to get jobs in the future, their ability to be part of respectful society. It's like if they're willing to do that out of misguided loyalty to Trump or something like that, like then they're actually nuts and should probably be examined by psychological professionals.
Yes.
I suspect it's not that. It doesn't mean that everything they're saying is exactly right, and this is what they're going to have to prove. But we're in a really, really interesting spot right now. And again,
yeah,
really, really interesting. It's just the commentary is just pinpoint.
The funny part is he cannot either grok A, that they're crazy, but B, that they're also incentivized by making a ton of cash.
Yeah.
And that can't imagine there's going to be any opportunity for Sidney Powell to in any way monetize this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, pretty sure Dave Rubin is familiar with the concept of saying inane, awful, stupid things for cash. I'm pretty sure he knows very well what that entails.
I think we should have a pool. At what point do you think he invites either one of those people onto his show?
Yeah, I was going to say
3 months.
Like it's only a matter of time before he has her on his very monetized show to talk about how she's not being monetized.
Exactly.
But this is going to be it, folks. Dave Rubin, we're moving into a new era where Dave Rubin's takes are going to be judged based upon the actual content of the takes, not upon his ID.
I mean,
his identity, right? Like his whole career has been about criticizing identity politics. It's all been built on his identity.
His journey right will be still central to the narrative, I think.
Oh my God. But how long can you play out that journey?
I mean, his political analysis is basically like just some random guy off the street. Like, we're in a very interesting time. Really just poignant stuff, man.
I think it's interesting how he's like, yeah, and at some point she's going to need to prove that. And I would just say if any video editors want to compile chronologies of people like Rubin or Crowder and the claims they make about this election and how they try to hedge it and how the hedges, because I think it seems like they're trying to hedge a little bit more, especially with Powell. I don't know. I'd like to see how their their narrative evolves over the course
Well,
of this.
because Powell is like even more openly unhinged than potentially Rudy Giuliani, which is
Yes.
really
she
hard.
she had a thing where she was like, the votes went from Georgia. They went into a server in Germany, and our forces, she said, have raided that area and have taken over those servers.
Yeah, but why would you say that unless there's something there? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's an interesting time.
That Joe Biden, of course, could be completely lying about how Bernie Sanders is actually pulling the levers on him, but it's impossible to imagine that Sidney Powell would be that crazy. I mean, there's got to be something to it.
2020, what a year, says Dave Rubin. Then he gets $1 million.
This is your brain on ideas, folks.
There you go. It's about ideas.